Hey, you guys, it's Sonia. So it's April, which means, it's going to be time to start planting the new garden for this year, 2021. And I just wanted to show you some of the things that I plan on planting. I got some lilies. I got some, what are these things? Canna, I don't know, but they're pretty. I have this little purple plant. I don't know what that's called either, but I did some plant shopping at Home Depot. And I got some bell peppers, I got some collard greens, I got some cabbage, um, some sweet mint. I have seeds that I plan on planting. I think some sweet onion. I also have, what else? I bought a couple of things, some new things that I want to try. I have this other plant with the yellow bloom. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty. So I kind of want to do a garden, a vegetable garden, and also a flower garden. And I think I'm going to do the flowers in pots around my garden. And I'm going to step outside to show you exactly what I mean. So hang on just a sec. Okay, right now I'm on the side of the house near the driveway. This whole area, this little patch, gets great sunlight. And I believe my mother in law had planted some collard greens like right here, and they did really well. They grew beautifully, they were very productive. And that's because this particular area gets great sunlight. Um, so they did really well right here. I'm gonna show you another spot. And of course, yeah, I'm gonna dig this up, put some good soil here, and make this a little garden area. So this is the side of the house, near the back of the house, um, in our driveway. So hang on, and I'm gonna take you to um, the garden spot. One more thing, this area along the back fence in the backyard, as you can see, our yard, okay, the grass looks like this because of this ginormous tree. It gives a ton of shade. So this grassy area, which is supposed to be grass, is not grass because the tree shades everything and nothing can really grow in this particular spot. But back by the fence is another area that can get good sunlight, and I think it's another area that I may try to plant some things. I'm going to test it out just to see, but that's another area I'm going to look into. Again, these trees, now mind you, this tree is from our neighbor's yard, and you see how it overlaps onto into our yard and even onto our roof. And we're not even going to get into the squirrel pandemic. But they provide a lot of shade, but there's also this area alongside the fence that kind of gets good sunlight too. It's still kind of a shady area, and I'm thinking about possibly putting something alongside the fence. Possibly. Now, as we get to my little spot, I came out here a couple of weeks ago and I cleaned up all the dead leaves that was in here, um, weeds and other weird things that was growing in here. You see these flowers that come up every year. They came up through my planter box. Um, these, I forget what they're called, but I had planted them here, the seeds, a while ago, and they finally came up this year. Um, but I have this whole area where I could possibly plant something, more things. So in my garden box, I plan to, of course, add more soil to both. And look, this strawberry plant never died. As you can see, it's right there. Um, and then I have these two pots. I think you may have seen them In my last video, my very first video, I never put anything in them, but I am going to use them, and I think these will be what I put um, the flowers in. And then the rest will be, this will be vegetables, and I'm going to buy more pots, more big pots like these to put either more flowers or more vegetables in. And I think I am going to dig up this area again with this bush or tree that hangs over. I told my husband I want to cut some of these branches off that overlap over here, and it causes too much shade. I want to try to utilize this area and try to put something here as well. So I have these ideas, I have these spaces, and I really want to use them and utilize them to the best of my ability. We have a big yard, and you would think, oh, look at all this space you have. You should be able to plant a huge garden. And that would be true. However, we have a lot of trees. We have trees that need to be trimmed. And yeah, it's too much shade. A lot of trees equals a lot of shade, and that never bodes well for a garden. But this particular area, it gets direct sunlight, so I think I'm gonna dig it up and try to put something here. So those are just some of my ideas. I just want to kind of give you guys, let you see what I'm working with as far as my space, my area, my yard. The biggest thing for me is the trees. There's a lot of them. There's a huge one that sits in the middle of our yard that is completely overgrown. And then there's the neighbors who has trees that are totally overlapping into our yard and provides a lot of shade. And with all that shade, there's not a lot of sunlight for a good vegetable garden to really grow and thrive. So I'm trying to do something about some of those issues, like cutting off branches and just finding different spots in the yard that offers really good sunlight, like steady, consistent sunlight that will be necessary for plants to grow and thrive. One that I think is important to identify the pros and cons of a garden, like to sit and evaluate what went well and what didn't go so well with the previous year's garden. And one of the main things I found was, I think I planted kind of late. I should have planted sooner. And then also the issue of light, sunlight, and the shade from the trees. I didn't realize how big of an impact that would have on my garden. So that's what made me like look at different areas, different places, like that spot on the side of the house, the spot in the back by the fence, and possibly alongside the chain link fence, areas that I know get good sunlight. And my husband and I, we try to go outside like during the day when the sun is out to see like just exactly where that sun is hitting. But at the same time, it's April 21st here, and I'm in the Midwest, so the trees are just now starting to bloom. So then I have to try to imagine those areas once, with trees full of full leaves, and the shade that will cause, and when that shade kind of happens, throughout the day, like when is it sunniest out, when will my plants get the optimum light? So that's kind of where I am. And then also utilizing pots. I see a lot of people who start their gardens or just have a garden in big pots. And I think that's awesome. That's something I'm going to utilize as well, because at least with pots, you can just take them and you can move them around. Like if it's in a spot that's not getting enough sunlight, you can move it. You can move it to a spot where I can't speak, where it will get that good sunlight. So that's a good option. I was going to buy like another garden bed from Home Depot, the double one, but I'm like, no, let's try these other options first before I go that route and see how that works. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in that dirt this year. I need to go back to Home Depot, buy a shovel, get some good soil, get some pots. And as soon as we're done with the threat of freezing or frost, I don't know if you noticed, but when I was outside, it was trying to snow. That's what happens when you live in the Midwest. It's April, but we could still get hit with a snowstorm. That's just how it is. So that's why we have to wait before we can put anything out, because the threat of frost is not gone yet. The threat of snow is not gone yet. So it'll be end of April, 1st of May before it's safe for us to put our plants out in the garden. So I'm anxious and I'm kind of worried about my collards, because one of my plants over there is kind of dying. I don't know if I overwatered it or what, but I try not to water, and I water it very little. And I have those plants sitting directly in front of a window so it could get the sunlight it needs. But I'm just anxious. I'm very anxious to plant, to get my stuff out there. And yeah, so that's kind of where I am. I hope everybody is well. Please, if you have any tips and tricks, let me know. And comment, subscribe, share. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.